Okay, let's roll through the rest of the math domains. And as you can see here, I've done something funky geometrically with very simple planes. It's a pretty fast moving script. If you want to change it, all you have to do is exit the turntable tool, take a look around it. It kind of explodes out and does some wonderful things, but it stems from the last few nodes that I haven't activated yet in the domains tab, which was basically constructing domain 2, deconstructing domain 2, constructing it another way, deconstructing it using bounds 2D, and dividing that domain, which is I'll bring in the ISO curve tool, isotrim tool as well. So here it is, and let's just see what we got going on there. I didn't take it to bake or anything. I actually have it. Let me delete this, and we can leave that document. I believe. I think I have everything too selected, so it's gone kind of crazy here. Let me take off all this geometry here and just have no preview. And we'll take this back over into shaded, and there's nothing there for us to look at. I think it's set. All right. I guess if I put it on here, you'd see the whole shape. Yeah, you get a sense of what's been generated. So what is that thing? It's just a bunch of paper thrown up in the air, but it's a pretty good little parametric model to play with. And what I can do is I can go in and show you how I made it. Basically, I constructed a domain 2 in two ways. This way you can construct it, but you don't have control to start it farther in. I can start this domain in at point 0.21. I can start this one in farther. This one, it goes from 0 to whatever number I have in there. So if I bring it down and do it'd be like bringing this down to 12, making it real small. So I stuck with this one. I have more control over this one. So that's fine. I haven't put on my little finders, my jump tools yet, but basically I will use that one to say, okay, we used these two nodes here, and do the same for the other one. Anyway, so I'm pulling out a UV count, which is like an XY local on an object, and I'm setting up a surface plane there. That's it. We start with a surface, and there it is. What I'm going to end up doing to it is I'm going to isotrim it and take it into sections. And this one I decided to break it into a 2x2 count. So you've got 4 panels here that are on it. Then I thought, okay, well, I better populate those and get some points on there. And I staggered the seed. So I put a seed in there, but it actually dances because the seed's off here. So as I move the seed, the numbers change, but also these numbers change. So you get 2 sets of numbers there. One is here and one is here, and they both play off of different ones. One has a different count as well. Actually, they're both set at the same count, 11. So I could play with that count, change that up. I think keeping it fairly low is all right. Then if I had a list length, no problem. And I thought it's best construct another domain with that list length. Obviously, I'm going to do something to the geometry, and I did it to an angle shift. Basically, I take all those surfaces, and I wanted to use a deconstruct domain 2 from these points and bring it into a bunch of rectangles. So I have these 4 rectangles that are generated, and then I did another one down here that generated with a different count of the counts that I was actually playing with. So basically I can have 3x3 and I can have 2x2. Now those are going to make for some interesting geometries if I rotate one of them. So if I take this set and blow it around into a range that changes, I can then find the difference between them. It just adds a little funk here. It just adds a little tiny thing happening here, which then I can rotate the whole thing afterwards. So I can take every individual one, find the center of each one, find the list length on that, and then blast it up into that. Put a surface on there and you're done. Not too hard. And there's just this little weird flat plane that starts, which I've got a little, the only way I used it was because I wanted to activate this node, which I hadn't used yet. And I still don't know if I'm using it that well. I didn't look online for bounds 2D, but it's there. And the divide 2, I think this tool I had set up right off the bat, so that shouldn't be too hard. Kids are acting a little crazy because it's Friday or Saturday. I think it's Friday. There was the change there, divide domain 2. So just bring that in, group it, go on back, group the whole set and say, okay, there's all the nodes I wanted. I think I got pretty good use out of them. Oops. Oop, didn't mean to remove the group. Group it, color, bring it back into orange. There we go. Those are the nodes I wanted to play with. And then just keep kind of referencing them as I go around and say, okay, I had a pretty good go at each one of those nodes. This one was the bounds 2. So that's it. I feel like the best thing to do is get at least the script to work for you in some fashion as you go through. And then in the end, just fire this up into the preview on, put it back into a render. You should be able to see it if you leave that, or at least I believe so. If I select that, stick out that terrible. Yeah, there it is. There's the colors. And that's just kind of fun to play with. And then how can I actually have a little bit of a jumbling control over that? What happens if I bring that up to 3? It's totally going to do some different things. I can blast this into some really cool 2D paintings. And this is why I think this should be taught, because I think artists and painters will get into this and they'll be creative with this. And we will have a wonderful kind of generative parametric art program going once the schools follow what's happening here. And boy, this is getting pretty fun with the count. So really exciting stuff. Play around with it. Another 5-minute video, 6-minute video. Not too bad. Throw it back on turntable. Sometimes I just like to see it and see it moving kind of quick. And hopefully, well, that's a little nuts. See what the reaction is to it as I go here and change the seeds. It may jump. It may change a little bit. Have a little bit of control and get used to making some artworks, some digital artworks, because once things go digital, there's no real going back. You can grab this whole thing, throw it out into a Photogram app right here, wherever that F is, this Photogram. Yep, you can start syncing those through your phone and pulling those through HoloLens sets. And obviously, I have much more numbers that are here, so it's demanding more color. So this is one case where you just add until you'd find there's no more. And there it is, you've run out. So basically, these are all colors that I could keep inputting for reference, which might be kind of fun. But in doing so, you just got to grab, I'll just show you how to do this. This is the way I kind of conceive of this, is I grab a bunch, I cut and paste, and I take those over here, and now the script's like, what are you doing? Because you just doubled all our colors. I'm pretty good at blowing out my scripts. Let's pull this down here and say, okay, we've got a few more colors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's just grab this little node here and bring it down here. I'm just kind of playing around because it's what I do. Pop that geometry into there, pop this one into there, pop this one into there, pop this one into there, and then play with the parameter change and shift to colors, and you're able to control those colors a little more, and hopefully they're a little more exciting to look at. Look at that. You're painting, you're drawing, you're scripting. There's no rules to this. Nobody has a right to tell you to direct your hand, and nobody has a way control over what you think. And so, I don't know, making some pretty cool stuff here. Just going to downsize this, open it right up, not even worry about a render, and say, okay, what is going on here? But creative coding, that's really what it is about. This is kind of beautiful. Yeah, beautiful in a kind of annoying, vibrant, obnoxious way. Thanks very much for watching.